What's up there, SEO pros? Welcome back. Today we're going to be covering how to get out of the Google Sandbox. So you have a brand new site and you don't know how to get out of the sandbox. Your site isn't showing on Google and you've had your site for about a month. This is something that I've experienced personally, and I've actually been able to get out of the sandbox in under a month, but in most cases it doesn't usually happen that fast. Some people say that they've been able to get out of the sandbox in under 2 days. That's sort of controversial whether or not that's even possible. If you have a brand new domain, it's really hard to do that. Now, if somebody's had that domain for a while and then they create content on it, then you can get out of the sandbox. Now, if you don't know what the sandbox is, the sandbox is this little thing that Google likes to put people in if they create a new site, because they don't want just everybody creating new sites and ranking right out of the blue. So here we go. Let's talk about some ways to get out of the sandbox. So the first thing you want to do is set up your site with some content, right? If you're just posting a domain with a title tag on there, you're probably not going to get out of the sandbox as fast as a site with a good amount of content on it. You can of course streamline your content. I talk about this in some of my courses. My favorite way of creating content is just like this, where you're actually standing and talking in front of a camera and then getting that content transcribed and put onto a site. If you want to see how I did this on one of the sites that I'm doing a course on, which is already out of the sandbox in under a month, you can head over to the link in the description, or you can just go to authoritynuke.com. Creating content is a great way to start getting out of the sandbox quickly, but you're going to want to combine this with Search Console. So get your content on your site, set up Search Console as fast as possible, and make sure there's a sitemap on your site. What you do is you can submit that sitemap to Search Console and then start asking Google to index your pages. So you would go to crawl, fetch, and then ask Google to index the different pages you've created. Another great thing to do is do a bunch of internal linking throughout your site and then crawl the pages and the direct links from those pages to the other pages on the site. Now, whether or not this is really going to help compared to just crawling the links directly and doing it one by one, just for those links, I have no idea. But when it's a brand new site, I think using the 10 monthly quota you have on the crawl URL and direct links is totally worth it. The next thing you're probably going to want to do to get out of the sandbox is to start sending social signals.
You guys silly? I'm still going to send it.
A great way to send social signals is to set something up like Buffer and set up all of your social accounts. Now, instead of setting up all your social accounts at once, you might just want to order citations, as I stated in the other video, which citations also should help you get out of the sandbox pretty fast. You can generally get citations from hyper-local sites, which will help send more higher relevancy signals rather than just generic citations. Also, getting your citations on the most authoritative local indexing platforms first is probably going to help you get out of the sandbox faster. This means places like Yelp, places like Facebook, places like Google My Business. If you go to Moz, you can actually check out, they did a page where they talk about the most relevant citations you can get by niche, which I would recommend you check out. If you just Google it, I'm sure you'll be able to find it. Set up your on-page signals, set up your Google My Business, your main local indexing platforms, get your citations, and then if you get your citations, what I was gonna say earlier is that you can use the citations created by these different platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and then once those are all set up, so you don't have to go do it yourself, because if you're going to order citations, somebody else will do it for you and give you the logins. You can actually go and set those accounts up with Buffer or Hootsuite or whatever social scheduling app you use, and then start sending out posts about your different pages. Now, I would try to point to your pages, like your home page, your different pages if you can, and if you can, try to get some social signals. You could also probably set up a boosted post on these, for instance, Facebook, which might send more traffic and signals to that page, which might get you out of the sandbox faster. But in my opinion, just from creating these pages, setting up Search Console, setting up your sitemaps, setting up your citations, and having some NAP consistency, as well as your Google My Business, and setting up some social signals should get you out of the sandbox pretty fast. If you guys have your own ideas on how to get out of the sandbox, definitely let me know. Here's an extra pro tip. You can also use certain things like schema markup, local business markup, which may help you get out of the sandbox faster. If you have any questions, make sure you let me know. And until I see you next time, happy SEOing.